Good morning, everybody. We're back here at Machete Adventure, and today we're going to talk about land clearing safety. This one hits home close because I got a story to tell and I got an injury to show you. It's not for the squeamish, so if you can't stand the sight of cuts, blood, or any of that kind of stuff, you might as well just stop watching right now. We're going to talk about what happened to me. We're going to talk about why it happened, the mistake I made, and what the end result was. So stay tuned. It might get a little gross. I learned a lesson, and hopefully by me sharing my experience with you, you won't learn this same lesson because it's a painful one to learn. So this is my machete. Okay, this is pretty standard protocol around here. It's big. Again, I sharpen it almost every time I go to use it. And yeah, it's really sharp. Let's go down here where the scene of the accident took place, and we'll kind of recreate what happened without actually recreating it. I don't want to do that again. All right, now to the explanation and the gory part, as it would be, of what happened yesterday. So this is a really old coffee tree. It's really big, really fat. And actually I have to come in here with a chainsaw on this because it's so big. And I was working on that particular coffee plant right here, and it had a lot of vines in it. So let's get our machete and I can show you what happened. Now, I was down here early in the day and we had gotten rain yesterday. And, you know, I'm working on a hillside. There's a lot of vines, weeds, sticks, whatever. And that was my mistake. So I had cut this banana off, and I had planted this machete right in that slot, just like that. And you can see there's a very sharp edge right there. That was a big no-no. Should have never done that. So I'm working on this coffee right here, and I had clipped some of those branches back, and there was some big vines wrapped in it, so I was pulling on it. And you can guess what happened. The vine didn't let go, but I slipped. So I had been, you know, pulling vines, putting them over the edge on a deep, there's like a deep ravine right here that I don't plan on clearing. So I was putting all the waste materials there. I'm pulling vines and weeds, and what is right behind me? Yep, you guessed it, the machete. Not a good idea. So I slipped, and as I slipped, I turned around, and this is what I see that I'm falling towards. Not a good thing. And it was, you know, coming basically right for my neck. Well, you know, my immediate reaction was to protect myself. So I put up my arm, and you guessed it, the arm took the brunt of it. So let's take a look and see what happened. So here's the end result of what falling on a machete standing vertically in a banana stump looks like. Yeah, not good. As you can see, there's 11 stitches there, and boy, it was bleeding. Now, what did I do? You know, you got to have neighbors, and you got to have people that you can contact in an emergency situation. At the time this happened, it was early in the day. My wife had taken off to take care of some shopping, and I was by myself. And that's not uncommon. You know, I do a lot of work on my own, a lot of times. But I always keep my phone with me, just in case, you know, you never know what might happen. And yeah, so when I saw, you know, it was a split second, happened really fast. I fell towards the machete, and instantaneously, you know, blood, pain, the whole 9 yards. I picked myself up, quickly assessed the situation, and I saw there's a lot of blood. Now, I didn't know the extent of the cut, how deep it was, how you know, how much blood I was losing, but I knew one thing. My t-shirt came off, and I immediately applied pressure. So, you know, I wrapped it up really, really tight, and I put a lot of pressure on it. Once I managed to get that under control after a couple minutes, I kind of slowly peeled back the t-shirt to get a better look at what exactly happened. And I saw a cut that was maybe 2 to 3 inches long. I didn't see the whole thing. And it was bleeding, but it wasn't bleeding, let's say, it wasn't gushing blood out. It was bleeding profusely, but it wasn't spurting, projectile shooting blood. And so I knew, okay, it's cut pretty bad, but it's not, you know, what I would consider life-threatening. So I didn't think I hit anything like a major artery or vein or something, but I knew it was still pretty bad, and I'd probably have to go to the hospital. If not for anything other than infection, I mean, you're dealing with a machete that's dirty, you got vegetation, you got dirt, you know, you don't know what's on that blade. I mean, it's not going to be perfectly clean, it's rust, you know, and so I knew I need to get out of here. Now, we don't have multiple vehicles here. We kind of do, but one of them's being fixed right now. Hello. And so what I decided to do was, you know, of course I called my wife and told her, you know, hey, I had been injured. I got myself with a machete, and, you know, you need to come home now, because I probably need to go to the hospital. And so she was quite a distance away. Now, Puerto Rico is not a very big island, but if you've ever been here, then you realize that even short distances here take time to travel, because you can only go 20 to 30 miles per hour no matter what, because these mountain roads are just one lane, really, really curvy, and you're not making any time fast, plain and simple. And so I decided that I was gonna, you know, self-treat as much as I could until she got here. Luckily for us, we are blessed enough to have great neighbors. My wife called one of our neighbors, and you know, they came up the hill looking for me. In the meantime, I had, you know, taken the machete out of the stump and laid it down. I had my arm wrapped up really tight, and so I started walking back to the house. Now, I wasn't lightheaded or anything like that. You know, I knew what I was doing. I was coherent, and when I got up to the house, we decided to, you know, I should go to the local hospital to at least get things looked at, and you know, have it assessed, especially with, like I said, the infection part is what I was most concerned about. Actually, I was a little bit irritated too, because I had these grand plans of what I was going to get done that day as far as land clearing, and this just upset everything. Now it's upset everything for a couple of days. So today I'm not doing anything, because obviously I got to let this heal up a little bit before I get back to it. It's not going to stop me from doing what I was doing, but it will change the way I do things a little bit. So lesson learned, this is not a good idea. If you use the machete and you're done using the machete temporarily, that is a much better idea. Put it down on the ground, because then you have a lot less of a chance of getting cut by it. Don't do the vertical thing like that. Don't do it. So back to the hospital ride. So we take this, you know, 25, 30-minute hospital ride, because, you know, to go to our little local clinic in town in Las Marias, it takes a while to get there. I got there, they have a little local emergency room, and, you know, I have to say, it was unlike anything I've ever seen in the States. They were fantastic. They were awesome. They did not ask me for insurance information. They didn't ask me for anything like that. As soon as I came in, they saw the situation, asked me what happened. I told them, you know, it was a machete incident, and boom, I was in a room. I mean, right away. came in, they looked at it. You know, I asked them, do you think I'm going to need stitches? And they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, yeah, of course, you know, yeah, it's pretty bad, pretty bad. So, you know, they cleaned it up really good, and that was very painful. Iodine, alcohol, the whole 9 yards. And doctor came in, assessed the situation, and started throwing stitches in it. So, yeah, after I was treated, all done, everything was complete. I had my prescriptions ready to go for, you know, some antibiotics and things like that as precautionary, you know, to fight off any kind of infection, because that is a concern here. You're in a jungle environment, so there's a lot of bacteria and all different kinds of stuff in this environment that could harm you. And it was after that, then we started talking about insurance and payment and all that kind of stuff, which I thought was just absolutely fantastic. You know, you guys in the States need to take note of how to treat people. I know medicine is fantastic in the States. I'm not taking anything away from it. Nurses, hospitals, every nurse, every hospital I've ever been to has been great. But the biggest complaint I have about the medical field in the States is right off the rip. I mean, you can be bleeding to death in the hallway and they want how we getting paid. And that to me is just like, I don't know what to say. It's just, I don't know how it got that way. I know a lot of people that are in the nursing and medical field care about people, and that's why they do what they do. But how did it become just an automatic money thing before the actual treatment thing? You know, and if you have that same frustration I do, or maybe you know, maybe there's certain protocols that have to be followed in the medical industry I don't know about, leave a comment down below and tell me what you think about that kind of scenario, and if it's ever happened to you, and if it has, how did it make you feel as a patient? So, but back to where we're at. So, yeah, we definitely had a learning lesson. Don't have the machete up in the air, and it's not a good idea, because you don't want this. You don't want that. No bueno. No bueno. All right, let's say hi to the girls. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, I should say. What you guys got? You got some banana leaves, huh? Wow. You guys like that stuff. Here's a duck. Where'd you come from? Were you still in the house? You guys are tearing up these bananas, man. Where's Molly at? Molly, where are you at? You're famous. Molly, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, Molly? Hmm? You good girl? Yeah, a little scratch under the chin. All right, for me and Molly, the name of the game is to be safe. So make sure you're safe. Don't do what I did. When you're doing land clearing, there's a lot of things to think about, whether you're using a machete, clippers, shears, chainsaw, shovels, whatever it may be. Think about what you're doing and set yourself up for success and not failure, because you don't want an injury like this. All it does is set you back further. So, well, there's, okay. Till next time, Machete Adventure, be safe. See ya.